So I have a long experience with the college. My wife was a classified employee there for 20 years before she retired, so I have a long history with the college, and going back 20 years I've been involved with the College Foundation in providing scholarships to students and providing other grants and things for the college. I have a bachelor's degree from UCLA and a master's degree from USC. I graduated from UCLA in the ROTC program as a distinguished graduate and was commissioned into the Air Force. Spent 8 years in the Air Force, left as a captain. Got a little bit tired of the exotic places they were sending me to. So I did leave the Air Force and entered into city government, where I worked for over 25 years. I worked for 8 years for the city of Lancaster and then finished out my career with 12 years at the city of Palmdale. So I know the Antelope Valley, I know it very well, and I especially know Antelope Valley College and understand the needs of the community. Thank you very much.
I want to thank you first for hosting us this evening. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Barbara Gaines. I am running for a seat on the Antelope Valley Community College Board. I am an educator. I currently work for Palmdale School District. I am a principal at a middle school in Palmdale, Shadow Hills Intermediate. I'm also an adjunct professor for Concordia University. I teach in the graduate program. I have 2 master's degrees in education. One is in educational leadership, and the other one is in education in curriculum and instruction. And I've also had the pleasure of doing a short program at Harvard Graduate School of Education, where I studied instructional rounds. I'm a member of the Palmdale Kiwanis West, serving our community, and I'm also on the board for ACSA, Association of California School Administrators, where I serve on Region 15 as the Director of Charters. I'm running for the Community College Board because it doesn't matter where I go, I hear my former students tell me how difficult it is for them to get the classes they need. Just Tuesday, the president of the ASO, which is the Associated Student Organization at the community college, told me that it took him 3 years to get an anatomy class. I'm running for the students in the Antelope Valley and the surrounding areas. Not only the incoming freshmen, who are many my former students, but also the adult students. I returned to Antelope Valley Community College many, many years ago as an adult student, and it changed my life forever. And I want to do the same. I want to help the young people and the adult students in our community get that chance that I had. So I'm asking for your vote on November 5th. I really want to make sure that we streamline the registration process, get the full-time faculty in place that we need to put these classes in for the students. Thank you.
In 1968, I've maintained my involvement over the years. I've been active in the athletics to the arts programs out there, and very much inclined to favor a student-first approach. In fact, I met with students today, and I believe that that's where I come from on the board. I've been on the board for 13 years, and I'm seeking re-election for this additional term. I think basically, I come out of the same area that Mike does in a way. I was working at the city of Palmdale for over 20 years. I was city spokesperson, did their special events, helped them co-found their Partners Against Crime program, helped them land the mall. And then I worked there 2 years in the city of Lancaster for helping them get their farmers market and their street events going. The college is doing very well right now. I want to see us continue to do very well. We've come out of the funding cuts, with an exceptionally good position, and it's been a tough time for a lot of schools. We managed to get ahead of the curve out there in '07 when we cut back, and it managed to prevent us from having the same fate as a lot of community colleges with massive layoffs and massive cuts in program. I will point out that we serve more Lancaster students than Palmdale students, and third on that list is Rosamond. So that's how it goes in order. Lancaster has a few more students than Palmdale, and Palmdale has more than Rosamond. But we do serve about 1,300 Rosamond students right now. All right, thank you.
Taking the time to be here tonight. My name is Betty Winke. I've been on the Board of Trustees at the college for 16 years. My first job was here in Rosamond for Great Lakes Carbon Corporation in 1963, and in 1965 I married my boss, so I had to leave that position And fortunately for me, I got a job at Antelope Valley College in 1965. So I have continually been at the college for 48 years. 32 of those as an employee, and the last 16 as a board member. And I'm very dedicated to the college. I think that the current board has done an excellent job, and I want to see that progress continue. We hopefully are out of the biggest part of the budget crunch, and we're looking forward to making some real positive changes in the very near future. And those changes, obviously, when we can hire more faculty, will impact the number of courses that we offer. And that's our goal, of course, is to serve all of the students of the Antelope Valley. Thank you.
I've recently retired from Antelope Valley College, taught there 37 years. I've been in community college education for over 40 years. I'm happily retired. Whether win or lose, I'm happily retired. And I want to serve this valley. First of all, let me just say this. The gray hair that I have shows that I've been here a while. I actually taught with Warren Houghton. You may have known him. When he taught here in Rosamond, taught mining, taught geology, I was working with him. When Howie Lieberman and Ron O'Reilly took the students in school buses out to the dry lake beds to search for meteorites, walking across the dry lake beds, including the base, I was there. Ladies and gentlemen, education has been my professional life. And although I am retired, I am not too tired to keep serving this valley that I love so much. I have close friends of the Burton family and people in the mining industry from Rosamond. And I'm running for the board because I want to see the community become more involved in this college. You know, all of us are running for the Antelope Valley Community College Board of Trustees. Not the Antelope Valley College Board, but the Antelope Valley Community College Board. And I want the community to be far more involved in the college, and the college involved in the community. And that's going to be my thrust on the board, should I be elected. Thank you.
Teaching mining and geology, we had a large calling in this end of the valley. I think when you call for gold mining, people just come out of the hills. I mean, we had more people you could shake a hand at. I think there are people here that would more likely take classes if they were close to them. And Warren, if he was here, I think he would share that with me, that the people here want to see classes close to them. And I was part of that, and it was very good. I'm fully support that.
Mr. Adams.
Away from the outlying communities, but in our Lancaster campus as well. So we cut back a lot in order to make the ends meet with the reduced revenues that the state gave us. However, in the last few months, I know that our Vice President of Academic Affairs has been meeting with your superintendent about articulation agreements and about reestablishing classes in Rosamond. And it's our hope that we have classes reestablished in Rosamond starting the spring semester. So we're down that road, we're starting to expand again, we're starting to go back out into the communities now that we have a little bit more money, and Rosamond is one of our important goals of getting back on track, getting some core courses available up here.
Rosamond, we do have one now in Palmdale. It was not quite what was promised years and years ago from Measure R, but there are classes now being held in Palmdale. And if there are 1,300 students from Rosamond feeding into the Antelope Valley Community College, I think that is a substantial number of students that would, cause for us to certainly look into building or leasing a facility here to accommodate their needs and get a campus going here in Rosamond. Absolutely.
Mr. Steve Buffalo.
Down to right about 10,000, a little less than 10,000 students. So that kind of cut into our expansion efforts. We're back up to 14,500, and I believe we're still holding at that number right now. And we expect to grow by another 500 students. So we expect to get a range of 15,000 in this coming year. It certainly is something that we've talked about, offering some courses up here, whether we use the high school or use a commercial building, and we would certainly pursue that. I think right now, with the way the state has been operating, they were kind of discouraging expansion. now that things have loosened up and they will look at it maybe differently. What you hope to do there is establish a center, and the state will provide additional money, and that allows you to basically rent a facility and operate programs similar to what we have in Palmdale, where we have approximately 2,000 students attending that site right now.
School, and that worked very well. And the problem was, of course, it was expensive to pay for the facilities and maintenance, the custodial staff, etc. And so when things started to get really tight, why, that was eliminated. So like everyone else, I would love to see us come back to Rosamond. I think we should start again at an educational institution, a high school for instance, and see what the need is for the possibility of a larger site. So I would love to see that happen, and hopefully as things improve, we'll be able to do that.
Okay. Two more.
Exploring that, I brought that up about 3 years ago with regards to the technicians that would work on the windmills, or the large blades. At that point in time, basically because of the way we had to offer that and because of that budget cutback, we couldn't really pursue that. The solar is becoming a major industry, and we're looking at offering additional courses in the alternative energy areas. And basically that's where we're at. We're really looking if we can establish and get our funding at a constant level to be able to expand in a lot of areas. And we've already added 200 classes, for example, this coming year. So it's important to do it, but we also realized that with the way funding levels were, it was very difficult to pursue that. I know Saracosa pursued that, and that's why I had some interest in it, and I had talked to the president, Jackie Fisher, at that time about doing that program.
And if you talk, I guess.
Being a challenger, I have not had an opportunity to make any such decision as a board member. But one of the things that I am very excited about, if I will become a board member in the future, is that there are many programs at the Antelope Valley Community College that I would like to see put into place. First of all, Wi-Fi on campus. This is a community college that has Wi-Fi, I believe, in only one building. And so we really need to bring a lot of other programs into place. Definitely looking into the solar energy is something that we're very much into the 21st century, and it's something that a community college should be looking into. I'd also like to expand the aerospace programs that we have at the community college and work really in collaboration with some of the aerospace industries in the Antelope Valley. And I would definitely think that solar panel, my school my school district heavily went into the solar energy. We have it at every site in Palmdale. So I think it would be definitely something we would need to look into.
If you've been on our campus in the last couple of years, you've noticed a lot of the solar panel parking that we put into place. And that was in conjunction with the energy companies, and basically pay for half of our electrical costs now. And so it's one of those things where the college is moving forward, and we're moving forward not only physically but also in the education area as well. Our corporate community technical education people is now expanding again, as now we have funds again to do expansion in those areas. I know that our instructors and our deans meet frequently with the City of Palmdale, City of Lancaster, with the various county supervisors to talk about where the training needs are as far as growing businesses. And I know that as businesses come in and they let the city or the county know that they need to have training requirements, our corporate community and technical education people gear up very quickly to provide those training programs for them. And it's typical of the way we deal with aerospace. Aerospace right now is completely happy with the amount of courses we provide for them. We basically have several courses online. Currently, I believe about 8 courses in aerospace right now that completely meet the needs of the aerospace companies. We meet with them on a frequent basis. They let us know what the needs are, how many classes we should be providing for them, and we would do the same for solar and wind power as well. As those needs come up, as those companies provide some input as to what their training needs are, we're very quickly able to put those training programs together.
Video camera, online weather learning system. And I took videos of the sky every 15 seconds all day long, the whole day compressed into 4 minutes with data every 15 minutes. And I use that in my classes. I used it to illustrate why is it windy when it's windy, why is it sunny when it's sunny, why does the sun cross the sky differently each day, to teach my students about the weather. I'm about to sign a contract with NASA to help them install 6 weather stations in this Antelope Valley. They've come from Europe, they're being calibrated right now, and they'll be placed various places in the Antelope Valley to more closely monitor. These are our aviation rated weather stations. They are the best in the world, and NASA got a great deal on them. So I'm going to be teaching students how to set them up.
EWAS or,
Excuse me,
sorry, is it EWAS or, never mind, sorry.
Oh,
Is there an aviation name for like AWS?
yes, it's ASOS, yes.
ASOS.
Actually, it has more than an ASOS to it. But anyway, and the third thing I want to mention is, well, I spent one day with Dr. Les Udesi, my dean, and Mr. Valiotis and several other people. We spent a whole day out at a potential wind farm out on the west side of the Antelope Valley. And we were blown around that day like you wouldn't imagine on the top of these mountains. And we inquired of them what our students could get involved with. And because I was an instructor and not in the administration, I have not followed up on what came of that visit. But it was one windy day and just a memorable day to follow along with those people and see the technology, the Doppler radar to see how windy it is at a high altitude. It's incredible technology.
Really good in the past and will continue to be very good at serving the needs of the community. And we have, within the last 5 years or so, we have brought on some new programs that the community came to us and said they needed radiological tech for people to become radiologists in the hospitals and so forth. Respiratory therapy, we've done that. We have a fire academy, we have a sheriff's academy, and I'm sure that wind and solar, all you have to do is bring us a proposal, let us work with you, and I'm sure that we can make that work. Just show us the need, obviously it's there. When we put the solar panels in at the college, the intent was that that was going to be a learning experience also for our students, and we are looking at alternative energy and green technology, and that would just be one more avenue that we would love to see the college take. So bring it to our administration, and I'm sure that you'll find that we're very receptive to serving the community.
To get information in their tablets, it would cost them less. I'm all for it. I really am. I think they can search the information, they can cut and paste, but you need a teacher who's going to be on top of things. You know, it's just kind of like with the calculators. You give them a calculator and they forget how to do a division problem or a square root problem. You need to be able to use it effectively to challenge critical thinking. But I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Technology, I used clickers in my classes for decades. I had double sections. I taught a double load for almost 30 years. And I did it effectively because every student responded during the classroom session. And I knew when they walked out of that room who got it and who didn't. And I held back the ones who didn't. I said, what's going on? Now, technology is cool. I like it.
Definitely. College textbooks, the cost of hardcover are ridiculously high. They cost more than the tuition in a lot of cases. And we saw with Amazon and the Kindle and Barnes & Noble and the Nook, the prices of books go down when you have them available on the ebook platform. And I think that the students have to have that ability as well. I trust our students to use those things. I would not be like LA Unified School District and spend $1 billion and give everyone an iPad. I think that's kind of dumb. But if the student wants to invest a little bit of money on an iPad or a Kindle or a Nook and they can get the books for a lot cheaper, then I certainly endorse that.
Ms. Haynes.
Personally, I think the cost of hardback books is skyrocketed. I have a son who goes to the community college who's in his last year of his bachelor's degree, and I just paid $300 and some for 2 paperback books. So I believe that we absolutely need to let our students come with their iPads, their laptops, whatever access they can to get their textbooks. I had a college professor at Harvard say to me when he found out I was from California, he said, "Oh, you're from California, the state that buys their students $1,000 pencils." And I looked at him and I thought, oh, I better get adjusted to this kind of comment. And I said, "What do you mean by $1,000 pencil?" And he said, "You buy these kids these computers, but yet you don't let them do anything on the computer but type a report. And the minute they try to explore out there, then you're so afraid they're going to go onto a link that's inappropriate that you shut it all down." And after I thought about that for some time, I thought how absolutely right he is. We need to, these young people that we're educating today, they are the technology age. They are so, sometimes I go to them and say, "Can you help me and do something?" Because they know better than I do. So we need to let them access their books the cheapest way possible.
I know. Mr. Buffalo.
I think it's a good idea if you're using the tablets for replacing the book. In other words, just like you would buy an e-book. I think that makes some sense. As far as the uses of technology, I think in some cases they work well. But the bottom line is that students have to get back to reading. And they've got to learn to read for enjoyment at lower levels, and then bring that so they can understand technical reading, so they can understand critical thinking. So I think it's a good idea from the standpoint of, because textbooks are $100, $150, and that's a lot of money. So there's no question if you can get that same textbook on a pad, an iPad, or whatever you happen to be using, that would be a good savings for you. And I think they're moving in that direction. I just don't think they're quite there yet, the textbook companies.
Ms. Wendy.
I totally agree. Anything that saves money is wonderful. The college board just recently went paperless on all of our agenda materials, and we all bought iPads. My grandson helped me set mine up, and I love it. I'm addicted to it now. So I'm all for technology, and it's definitely the thing of the future.
States, in fact, after they're gone, the temporary jobs are gone. There's only going to be about 12 people that are going to be taking care of the fields. So they're not, to turn around and train these people, with the expenses to turn around and come here for a temporary job, I don't think is worthwhile. What I think is important is to train them for future jobs. And the #1 hire in the United States right now, and in fact in the world, is in computers. And the problem with Antelope Valley College is they're still teaching things like BASIC at the Antelope Valley, And in fact, unfortunately, they should be doing this at the junior high level. They should be doing it at the high school level.
Sir,
I'm sorry.
you have a question?
Yeah, I'm leading up to this question. Excuse me. What I'm saying is, what we need to do is improve I'm sorry, you interrupted me. My train of thought here. Improve the computer science at Antelope Valley College, and I'm wondering what you think of that.
We'll start with
That was a long time ago. The computers that I taught my students on, the programs I taught them on, are all long gone. They aren't taught there at the college anymore. We pretty much replace our computers and our operating systems and our software programs about every 3 to 5 years. So we're continuing to move technology forward at the college. There's student demands for certain computer classes, and yes, there are always going to be some, for whatever reason, students who want to take basic computer classes and want to know, basic how to do hardware, software type programs and stuff like that. So as long as the demand is there, and as long as the students are going through a program and to get that stuff, I think we should.
I'm not saying basic programs.
the question's been asked.
The word basic.
I understand.
Program.
I understand.
Sir, you must be allowed to answer.
Well, he's not answering the question because he doesn't understand the question. The word basic is a programming language. I'm saying
I know that.
teaching basic as a programming language.
I know that.
Which has been out of.
Sir, please give the panel a chance to respond.
Yeah, he doesn't understand.
Ms. Gaines.
Well, Antelope Valley Community College. My concern, again, as I mentioned earlier, is that I think first and foremost, we need to take some of that reserve and get Wi-Fi in every building on that campus, whether it's 1 or 5. There are many buildings on that campus. Every student there should have access, whether it's in the library, the computer lab, wherever it is, to Wi-Fi. That's just basic. We're in the 21st century. Elementary schools have Wi-Fi, and here the community college does not. So I think that needs to be, some of that reserve needs to immediately go into getting that, and then looking into whatever basic computer classes, or I'm not sure what program they have in place to accommodate that at the moment.
Dave Buffalo?
College, and he does all that stuff. But we are also a site for other companies that come in and actually train people in program and the things that you're asking about. So they actually come onto the campus and do that. That might be a week-long course, it might be a weekend course. So we do provide access to that, and that's how he upgraded his skills, is he took a lot of those classes provided by companies that come in and teach that type of thing. I do want to come back and comment on the reserve just for a second. They keep saying 16%, but the reality is it's really 11%, because 5 of that is an emergency fund. 5% of that you're not allowed to spend. So it's not like you can cut down. If you go below 5%, you have accreditation issues and you have issues with the chancellor's office. So it's not like there's a big reserve sitting there and all of a sudden you can go spend 14–15% of it. You can't. Because anytime you spend that money, that 5%, it has to be replaced in the next fiscal year. So it's really like a 12%, 11% reserve.
It is or has been eliminated. I haven't looked at the schedule to know for certain, but I do know that it's critical that they keep up, because our students go out and work in the industry, and if we're not keeping up with technology, the industry is going to tell us that. And we rely very heavily on our advisory committees, which are the industry, to tell us what they need from our graduates, and it's our job to make sure that they get those skills. So thank you for your question.
Meetings between the business division and the IT at the college. I was the faculty co-chair of the Distance Education and Technology Committee for some years. And I was the one who was trying to keep people from attacking other people over this issue of providing computers that are up to date and relevant for instruction. And some of a significant number of courses that are taught by people at the base. They're adjunct faculty. And they were saying, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? And they had some valid concerns. And IT had security concerns. And they were working it out. When I left, they were working it out. And I'll just finish with this. If there's a problem at the college, you can call my son. He's the one that answers the trouble call desk. His name was Danny, and he graduated from Antelope Valley College. He came back to work there, and he's a delight to be with. And he's the one that farms out the problems. When people have a computer problem, they call Danny. They're working on it, and I understand your question, and we're trying to be up to date with it. But the security issues are significant, as well as the keeping up to date issues. We have to come to a consensus. It's hard. It's very difficult to do.
However, I know there are only 3 positions that are going to be available, this November. So, in 3 minutes or less, please give your closest statement as to why you think that you are the best candidate for this position.
I believe that the reason I decided to run for the position of the Antelope Valley Community College Board is because many of my former students are students at the community college now. And they stress to me how difficult it is for them to get the community college classes that they are in dire need of, to go on to even a 2-year nursing program, or even to go on to a 4-year degree. I'm a firm believer that when our young people or returning adult students knock on the door of the community college, we have to be ready for them, because they're going to knock once, maybe twice if we're lucky, and then after that they're going to go on and life happens to them. Many of them will never return to a college campus again. They're going to find jobs, menial jobs, and they'll be content with that when they really could have earned an education. And as I've lived in the Antelope Valley since 1984. I moved to the Antelope Valley because I felt it was a place where I wanted to raise my children. And I still feel that way in 2013. I'm still happy to be a resident of the Antelope Valley. And I felt like I had a moral imperative as an educator. I really have no aspirations to run for any higher political office, but I felt like morally I needed to step up on behalf of the students in our community, in our surrounding areas like Rosamond and Little Rock and Elizabeth Lake Hughes and Acton, and make sure that we are giving these young people an opportunity to get the education and to become the future leaders of the Antelope Valley. And there's some wonderful young people in this community. I get the privilege of working with them every day, and they bring a smile to my face. I often say, one of the things that I'm kind of known for saying is that adults disappoint me every day, but the young people rarely ever do. They really, when they talk, it comes from their heart. And so I feel like it's something we need to do, is to give them the best opportunity to really make the Antelope Valley Community College high-tech, the cutting edge, buy the top quality equipment in our STEM program, the best microscopes that we can afford to buy for these young people, and really send them off with a bright future, whether it's to a 4-year or whether it's to a certificate or an AA degree at the community college. So I ask for your vote on November 5th. Thank you.
I'm running for the board because I'm concerned that it's possible in our lifetime Antelope Valley College will become a fossil, and the community college system will be extinct. Let me tell you why. The distinctiveness of the community college system in California is that it's a community-owned system. The community owns the California community colleges. The community votes for the board of trustees, not the students, but the community. When you look at our Antelope Valley College, 38% is our graduation rate. $800,000 is spent each year on students who are here for 1 year and drop out. We are in the 97th percentile of schools with defaulting on student loans. I do think there are people who start at Antelope Valley College with no expectation of finishing. There have to be people like that, for whatever reason. But I do believe there are people who start Antelope Valley College that they are intent on becoming a better person. Ralph Waldo Emerson said it well. He said, "Our greatest want is for someone to inspire us to be the person that we know we could be." And I think the problem is that these people become derailed along the way, and they don't finish what they start. They start with good intentions, but they don't finish well. And you know, over 37 years, I've asked students who were total strangers to me, in the elevator, walking down the hallway, "What's your major?" You know what, 9 times out of 10 they tell me they don't know. Or they tell me they're here to find out. And 1 person out of 10 might say, "I'm going to be an engineer." And I ask why? "Because my dad's an engineer." Do you know if you went to Walmart and you asked 10 people in Walmart while they're there, I don't think 9 of them would say, "I don't know." And I don't think 1 of them would say, "I'm in Walmart because my dad comes here." People need to know why they're in school, and I don't think they know why they're in school. I want to have a 1 week of community service, teaching nothing but community service at this school, where the faculty members would tell students what it's like to be a fireman, what it's like to be a math teacher, what's it like to be a history teacher. I want these students to know why they're in school. And I want them to start at grade 12. I want to do something that Ray Yoshida did so well. It's called a STEP program, Summer Term Enrichment Program. Get these students to connect with the instructors to know what a career is really like. To have the fire instructor tell them what a fireman's job is really like. It's exciting, yeah, but you could lose your friends, you could lose your health. Okay? I want to connect with the community. Yes, sir.
I think the community college, Antelope Valley Community College Board of Trustees have been excellent stewards of the public trust for our funds and our higher educational needs of the Antelope Valley. Our student success rate, our student retention rate are higher than our peer group among community colleges, and that success rate and that retention rate have increased every year for the last 6 years. So we have a success rate, we have students who are graduating and moving on, and those numbers increase every year. Despite the fact that we went through a financial Armageddon 5 to 6 years ago that continued for about 4 years, in which our funds were cut dramatically and we still had to keep those doors open. We kept those doors open and we didn't lay people off and we didn't cut salaries And I guess we're a little bit of a victim of our own success because we ended up at the end of that time period with a 16% reserve. Well, what does that mean? Well, the board requires about an 8 to 10% reserve. I mean, we don't require a 16% reserve. We require an 8 to 10% reserve. That gives us plenty of maneuver room. What are we going to do with that extra money? Well, there's a lot of things that we're going to do with that money. That 16% reserve is not going to be there probably 2, 3, 4 years down the road. That's going to be down to the 10, 11% range of reserves. And what are we going to do? Well, we are going to have campus-wide Wi-Fi because we have a campus-wide Wi-Fi plan that is going into effect, it's been going into effect for the last several years. And eventually, yeah, the campus will have 100% Wi-Fi. The plan is in place. You don't want to put Wi-Fi willy-nilly in the campus and have overlapping areas and have different problems. Our IT staff is working on that, so it's a smooth transition as we bring buildings online. So we are going to have complete Wi-Fi, and that's going to cost some money. So that will reduce the reserves. We are adding classes. One of the things that we did is we came out with a high reserve. Now we can add classes. Now we can adjust to the needs of the students. Now we can look at our enrollment management committee, and they can look at where the need is. Where are the students with waiting lists? Where are the classes with waiting lists? Where are the classes that don't have waiting lists? And address those needs so that we address the students' needs as best as possible. So yes, we have a 16% reserve. Yes, we're going to use that money, and yes, we're going to use that money wisely, as we have done for the last 6 years.